Hello, hi, and welcome to the Hive Buzz. This time around, we are talking influencer marketing. I'm your host, Wilhelmina Simono, and I am sitting with some lovely people, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. You know what I mean? Because others told me not to say certain names, but that's off the mic. It's okay. You know what? It's shaking. The ground is. But yes, I'm going to start with Cloni. What do you do? Just get us through it all.
Okay, so my name is Cloni Mushala. I am a CEO and founder of Autumn Communications. I'm a COO of KST Multimedia.
Yeah.
I am a PA and manager of Bishop Benjamin Dube. So I'm in PR and branding marketing and artist and entertainment management.
Oh, so you definitely.
So the story
belong
of my
here.
life, girl. That it is.
Let's move over to this guy over here.
Wow. This guy over here. I'm Scoop.
Yeah.
I am the COO of Idea Hive.
Yeah.
Essentially, I play a bigger role in terms of the company,
Yeah.
just around content engagement, influencer marketing, which is what we're here to discuss. And overall, just looking after the operations of the company. Yeah.
All right. Off to Sana.
Hi guys, my name is Biscuit, better known as @Biscuit on Instagram. I am a CEO of Biscuit Boutique, brand influencer, brand strategist, and also CEO of Biscuit Intimate Boutique. So basically, that's who I am.
Right. Guys, thank you so much for creating time to talk with me. I'm actually going to hop to Scoop first because, you're in the digital industry and digital marketing industry, rather, and we see how the game has changed, particularly for influencer marketing.
Yeah.
Now, I want to know, just quickly unpack that for us, and then what role does a company like Idea Hive play in the greater scheme of influencer marketing?
All right. Wow. In actual fact, it's been a journey.
Yeah.
Let's start there. It's been a journey from where the Hive started to where we are at the moment. There's been trials, there's been tribulations, but we're growing. Let me kick off with precision, which basically informs how we use influencer marketing. And influencer marketing is essentially a service we provide, but we're doing it a little bit differently. We don't particularly pay attention to the aspect of influencing, but now because the game is changing, we're more in a content creation space. The service is influencer marketing, but content creation is where everything is. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the TikTok videos.
Definitely.
You guys are influencers yourselves as well, to an extent, but we've tapped into it because, in fact, it's not something new. We've been doing it for the past, if I was to estimate, about 3-4 years. And now we're officially stating that, now
This is what we are offering.
This is something strong that we're offering. We've got a huge database. I mean, Cloni's sitting right across me. We've got a Biscuit as well right next to me. So that database is growing. But when it comes to influencer marketing, it is something that Idea Hive is, fully fledged in. We've got software that tracks our influencers. We can report on the latest stats. It's a growing service or product, and I think it's of importance that we stick with the times, just to ensure that we're playing in the space around digital marketing.
Yeah. And when you're talking about sticking with the times, I'm going to have to throw this one at you, Cloni. Sure. From a communications company and being a PR specialist, you can now, I think, proper unpack it in terms of approaching your clients or introducing influencer marketing as a concept.
I think influencer marketing, also in different spaces, different clients, it's the appeal that's different. From a PR point, also PR is more on, it's not digital now. PR is more radio, TV, it's still the traditional marketing. So if you're looking at all of your big radio stations, you're looking at your newspapers, the interviews in studio and big television shows. So PR is still in that mainstream because most of the people actually, the older market, I must say, they are not internet savvy.
Yeah, that's
no,
true.
So
that's
if
true.
SABC One
That's
is playing something or some TV station is playing something and they see their favorite talent on there, that still works for us as PR specialists because that's where the relation with the public comes in. So I think in the digital space, it's working for the younger market, and I'd say I know my mom is just like, Twitter, what's going on?
What's that?
We're like, Mom, but they're trending from yesterday.
Yes.
She's like, no, I know Julius and his friends were fighting last night on the news, stuff like
What's
that. They're
going
still
on?
on TV, they're
Yeah.
still on radio, they still listen to radio, still tune in.
Yeah.
So the digital space has taken over. True, yes,
Yeah.
because the larger market is the young people. We've
It
got
is.
more young people in the country than the older generation.
Yeah.
So I think that's why digital is so big, and actually globally.
Yeah.
But from a PR perspective, I would still say traditional marketing is very strong.
Yeah.
Because that's what PR is. PR is not influencer marketing. You're never going to put a an influencer on a platform for radio to say, let's talk.
Yeah.
They don't need that influence because they can just take their phone and do their thing. So from a PR point, traditional marketing for us is quite a big market.
Yeah. All right. And I Am Biscuit, you talked about how you are an influencer
Yeah.
and then also a brand strategist.
Yeah.
Now, how do you merge the two to make sure that you like stand out, I guess, from the rest of the influencers? Or what role does it play for you to be a brand strategist when you're an influencer?
First of all, you need to always know your niche and understand what type of target market you're trying to bring onto social media and onto your platform. So every time when I'm on my social media platforms, I always try to be very different. For example, there's many people who can come to a restaurant to create content, but I wouldn't do that. I would rather just come to a restaurant and have an interview like what I'm currently doing right now. Something very different and attracting more, just to be the one to stand out and then let people follow what you actually do. Because everybody else just wants to come to maybe a restaurant, take pictures and order like a small meal and go home. But I'd rather come to a restaurant and explore the restaurant and maybe even show the restaurant what's all about, and probably even talk to the manager and be like, okay, no, I would like to actually put your restaurant on the map. Let's just talk about maybe the menu or whatever you guys have. So I'm just more of someone who wants to always stand out. I don't like being a follower or doing whatever that everybody else does. So that is the most important thing, to just know your niche.
Yeah, and I think just around that, so from our database, speaking to your point, that you need to stay authentic with yourself. Influencing is not, paying attention to the latest trend.
Yeah.
True,
Like an
true.
Alfie,
Yes.
Alfie has blown it out the park.
Yeah.
A Primo has blown it out the park because they stay true to
100%.
who they are and the content that they've. Some of the stuff is from their upbringing. Some of the stuff is from, and that's essentially what the Hive brings to life. That authenticity, that
okay.
humane. Like you and I can talk.
Yeah.
You can relate
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the content I'm creating,
Yeah.
and then that will influence you to
want
purchase
to-
a
yeah.
product or go to a restaurant. Yeah.
Right? And now she talked, she touched a lot on niche. And I don't know if I'm jumping the gun here, but here I am. I want to become an influencer. And everyone can be a coffee lover. Anyone can be a food enthusiast, a fashion lover and everything. How then do I come down to say, I'm gonna be different? I don't know if the Hive can play a role in terms of being able to extract that, to say, no, actually you're not a coffee lover, you're just a foodie in general.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can the Hive position itself to also help an influencer identify their niche?
Definitely. It's around what I touched on a little bit earlier, the precision. So precision is really, you segment your audience.
Yeah.
On Instagram, for example, there's data there that speaks to who your actual audience is. Are they 13, 15, 21, 32? What pictures do they particularly enjoy? What videos? So that's stuff that we extract, and then we can guide our influencers as to, look, I think this is a better way for you to treat your content or your conversation, or, even something as small as a caption.
100%.
Can play a role.
100%.
It's
You
a
are very
huge
right.
thing.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing because you're tapping into, a different mindset when
Yeah,
it
yeah,
comes
yeah.
to your audience, and you want them to engage with you.
Absolutely.
So that's what the Hive brings as well. Just that data-centric execution. If that's the right word. Is that the right word?
You're good. Your English teacher's happy wherever she is. Now, Cloney, I'm always going to come back to PR because at the end of it all, whether it's digital or traditional,
100%.
we want to know if this is going to work.
Yeah.
So, like we said, it almost feels like everyone is doing the same
Same
thing,
thing.
right? And now there's a business person sitting there,
Yeah.
and they're like, influencers, what? No, right?
not
Would I
that.
really pay someone to just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What would you advise that person right now sitting there?
corporate.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it very simple.
Yeah.
Corporate companies rather have a communications agency than a social media agency.
Yeah.
Because for them, their LSM is different. They're looking at someone who reads the newspaper, someone who watches the news, then more current affairs and all of that stuff. Corporates are surrounded by that hype. So they'd rather go for a communications agency that's going to communicate more with the audience on those platforms than on Twitter, than on
Instagram.
Instagram,
Yeah.
you know, because
TikTok, yeah.
now they have to come here and shoot. Whereas they could just have a spread of the petrol hike next week, that F&B there's a 8.26 petrol increase or whatever the case may be on a newspaper. So with that being, that's how they go about their PR when it comes to corporate. Because you were asking about how we tie everything in together. The only time then when we, I mean, PR people then start to rope in influencers is then when we look at our contact list.
Yeah.
I think Somizi is cool. It's king, and he's got money, he's got a nice face. Let's use Somizi. Then that's when the Hive comes in and they say, hi guys, how's it going? Autumn needs a face. We've got him on our database, but we can't now then have that conversation with him because of we're the communications who does the traditional PR. Now they'd come in from a strat point. They'll plug the two in. From a strat digital point, because that's what's going to sell. So that's how you tie all of this into one whole thing with PR. Let me tell you guys, people are lying to people here. Let me be honest. Let me tell you the truth. PR companies are your phone book.
Yeah.
Like the truth is that like PR companies, honestly, are your phone book. It's like who you know.
Yeah.
It's like who's the who of who. Like it's about who you know. I can make it a practical example. I went to an event with so Alfie is my friend. He called me. We were still friends at the time. Friend, let's go to an event. We get there. It's zero of any market of his or mine. But we walked in and those old ladies were like, Alfie, yeah, my kid, my this, my that. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is how it happens. After that, he calls me. He's like, friend, I think you should manage me. It's who you know. Your business is here. PR is there. It's your phone book.
Yeah.
Like if anybody's gonna lie to you and say, no, I know this person from this position who does know.
It's never about that. Yeah.
I can tell you, PR is here. Maybe in digital content, maybe, because then you need to speak to other people who content creators. You have to speak to production houses and all of that stuff. But with PR, not so much. It's all in your contact list, Dar. It's about who you know. You know? Especially in SA. Especially in SA, guys. It's about who you know.
It is.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Connections everywhere. And on top of, who you know, it just means you're going to succeed, you're going to make the big money and all of that. And that's the chat right now, that influencer marketing makes the big bucks. But then I'm starting up. What informs my rate card, or what informs the invoices I send? Because some people will tell you, oh no, at first it's going to have to be pro bono. Also, what is the duration for pro bono in order to get your name out there?
There's a secret that I'm going to tell everyone right now. Honestly speaking, never send a brand your rate card. I'm against that. Because say now maybe Idea Hive has a budget of 20,000 Rand to pay me. But my rate card says 10,000 Rand. Idea Hive will give me that 10,000 Rand. You understand? Or say now my rate card says 10,000 Rand. Idea Hive has 5,000 Rand to pay me. Idea Hive won't consider working with me because I'm above their budget. Or they can consider working with me because I'm below their budget. So it's always advisable to, when a brand approaches you, you hear their budget.
Yeah.
And then say now Idea Hive says, no, listen, Biscuit, I want you for this and this and this and that. Here is our budget, we're giving you 10,000 Rand. You take it. If it's not good enough for you, by which we live in South Africa, guys, money is money. Hey?
Yeah,
but
it's
but like if that 10,000 Rand does not meet what they require you to do, then you can try and negotiate. Maybe not now, add a little bit of like a 2,000 and so that. Let's make it 12,000 Rand, And Idea Hive, it's a business, guys. We negotiate. But putting out your rate card, I promise you guys, I don't think it's a good idea because I'm speaking from experience. It chases brands away or it makes brands underpay you?
I think to come in there, you're
Yeah.
right. I think to come in there, I think when you said as a starting out influencer,
Yeah.
a lot of the time, how people always view being booked is no, whatever I can get, I must take. I think that build a relationship with the brand first.
Yeah.
So
I was
if the
actually about
budget,
to say.
this is because what I'm saying is I can't come in from a perspective of when APSA calls me and says we need communications. I've never worked with APSA before. I don't know anyone inside APSA who can give me insight on maybe no guys, actually the budget for this campaign is 2 million. No one can tell me that. So if they're offering me 80K, I'm going to take the 80K.
Take it, yes.
And then build from there and say, guys, actually maybe for the next 3 campaigns, let's do a retainer rate.
Yes.
Make it 120 instead of the
Yes.
80. Give me the 80 now, I'll take it, first check, so you can look at my work. Because also business carding the brand is important. They need to look at how you work first.
Yes.
You get what I mean? And how successful it's going to be. Then you can be now a case study for them to say, actually, we just keep these people on board for their actual rate now. You know, because no business takes a risk on something they've never seen. That's a fact.
That's a good point that you're raising.
You know, so build the relationship, and then once you have the relationship, then you can get away with charging them an extra 40K.
That's what I'm saying. That you don't
know?
just.
Yeah, so that's where the Hive comes in as well, is that we're more transparent around our relationships with our influencers to say, this is the actual budget. We would rather you receive the rates that you're expecting to ensure that, you know, we're building a relationship. Again, it's been 3 to 5 years. There's a lot of relationships. Tony touched on it. You have to have relationships. It's about who you know. Once you build that relationship, a rate card is more of a guide when you come to the Hive. But we know exactly that actually the budget is 50, your rate is 20. Let's give you 30 actually, because our relationship has been built.
There we go.
I think that's the divide between Idea Hive and a lot of the other agencies. It's a lot more transparent. And also when it comes to the deliverables, we're not expecting you to jump off a roof for 20,000. That's crazy. But you know, that's what I'm saying. It's also about that relationship. If you build a relationship, you know, everything is open. It's on the table.
But also striking a balance between
Correct.
building the relationship but not undervaluing yourself.
Yes, that's
Because
true.
the issue then becomes that they start to value at the rate that you value yourself. So it is good to have the conversation that, listen, I'm worth 200K, guys. But all right, because I'm willing to do this, I'll do it on like 100K just for this one, you know? And then after that, you build as you go. But also then what happens is with brands, if you come in and you're meek, like you're saying, don't bring your rate card. That's being meek. That's saying, yeah, I'll take whatever you give me. No. I'm saying this is my rate card, but let's talk. So it's good to put your cards on the table so they know who you are. Because I never walk into a room and I'm just like listening. Okay, so guys, how much do you have? No, I'm not gonna ask. No. I'm gonna tell you what I want.
What I want.
Then we'll have the conversation.
Yeah.
Because if you're telling client to tell you what they have, obviously they're gonna tell you, I got 30K, but they're sitting on 200K.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you must come in and tell them what your value is, based on the work you do.
Well, I do have a rate card, but I also just
Listen, that's what I'm saying to you. It's important to come in with your cards open. Say, guys, here's the rate card. It's 70K. But listen, I'm willing to do 50 for this. Do you understand? So don't hide your rate card completely, because then they can't gauge your value.
yeah.
My rate card is there. It's like, I don't think Bonang walks into a room.
No way.
No, but that is a different level
No, it's
of.
because, no, it's not a different level. She's a face card. She doesn't need a rate card. Do you understand?
it's
She's got
changed.
into
The game
face
has
card
changed.
level.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to say in terms of don't undervalue yourself, because how you value yourself is how people, and I learned this when I was in the music industry.
Yeah.
How musicians complain about we being underpaid, and you go and you do a gig for 1,500 rand when you know that I want 4K, you know? So the artist gets used to the paying you the 1.5 because you're not having the conversation, or you're not saying to them, but bro, I did that one gig for 1.5. I'm actually 5K worth per gig. So you never undervalue yourself. That's why put your cards on the table. No one is confused about how much I'm worth.
That transparency aspect.
Transparency.
Yeah.
Let's keep
have a
it
conversation.
clean so we know.
Now when you're saying that, I mean, we're talking about undercharging, rate card and all of that. I think also there comes in an issue of whether or not you're a good negotiator or not, or stuff like that. So now let's talk about influencers being under an agency or being under a manager of sorts. Then what role would that play in terms of them maybe being able to not undercharge or being able to send someone in for negotiation?
So look, influencer marketing is a tricky game, guys. If we're keeping it honest, it's a very tricky game because there are times that you as an individual can go directly to a brand, and to Shoni and Biscuit's point, they're gonna eat you alive.
Yeah.
You'll come in with 10 and they know that they're eating 500,000, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But under management, that's where that transparency conversation happens. Because we have a relationship, we can actually go and fight for your actual budget. So if you want 100,000 for 3 deliverables, that's where the Hive comes in to say, okay, we're going to go and fight for this because you are valued at this amount. A lot of the people at the moment are sitting as individuals or brands, individual brands. And what happens is that, again, to Shoni's point, I come in, I say, I want 80K, and they'll say, nope, we only have 30K. But the management, that experience, you know, from the 3 years to 5 years experience, now I know how to conduct the conversation to say, well, then, you know, your loss. And then a Biscuits brand grows, they're going to come back. That's what management does, because now we're able to put you in the space that you want to, and also at the same time, you're getting the rate that you need. That's where essentially the Hive comes in as well, yeah.
And, you know, just to use this last few minutes, I want to tap into something a bit controversial, because now the chat is, I'm sorry, Scoop, because now the chat is, influencers, are they being paid based on just followers? Are they being paid based on good quality work? It's almost like there's a point of privilege when you tap into an influencer marketing space that you need to be aware of. Have you experienced that? And you're like, yeah, no, here they sidelined me because maybe I don't have enough followers or something.
Yeah. Guys, it's really guys, oh my God. Yeah, man, I believe that they pay you based on the amount of followers you've got, 1. 2, the amount of engagement that you create, and the amount of likes and traction your posts bring out, you get. So I've had encounters where I'm working with a certain someone and they have, I'm not going to disclose names, but they have like about 500K followers, but we're doing the same thing.
Sure.
We're working the same thing. We're doing the same thing, but her pay is higher than mine.
What?
Yeah, like maybe I'm getting 15 and she's getting like 30. So a huge following is very important. But you can also still have like a small following and a big engagement.
You can have, I think you can have a small following and a bomb-ass manager.
Also that.
Someone who can get in the room and say what's what. And walk out of there and you guys got the
not
deal.
a lie. Yeah, that's
so
not
you
a
need
lie.
to have a bum-ass manager. Somebody call me. I'm joking. I'm just like, we shouldn't really base it on people being closed out. Your management is important.
It's important now to be under management.
Management, what you were speaking to,
It's important. It is important because majority of some influencers, they've got like 500K followers and they've got a manager, and there's me with my 95,000.6 followers with no manager. So when we get the same campaign or the same job, and then her manager has already negotiated for like 50,000 rand. Now I'm alone.
You don't know what the budget is.
I don't even know what the budget is. Like they come, they're like, we're gonna give you 15,000.
You're right.
Take it out.
You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
So, but I really think we need to get managers.
Structure. It's just structure.
Managers are very important.
It's structure.
But also, also
Around the brand. And you're going to grow. What I'm saying is, even like you're saying, your brand is already big. But as you get bigger and bigger, I don't think Bonang got to a stage where she's just like, yo, I'm at $1 million, I still want to manage myself. No, things get hectic. You can't have conversations with everybody at some point.
No, that's
so
true.
when you get there, you let go of the control, and I think that's where influencers get lost because this thing is yours, so you want to hog it until it's my content. I was shooting. Sometimes you need to let it go
Correct.
and hand it
Correct.
over to somebody, the Hive,
Correct.
and say,
Correct.
guys, this is my baby. I've come this far. How can you guys now take it further?
Yeah.
Let's
even
have the
go-
conversation.
It can even go as far as managing your actual account.
Actual account.
Yeah, like
where
an
you're
Instagram
not-
account, like you get
Yeah.
to tell someone what to post. Yeah,
Yeah, or they advise you. You don't even tell them what to post because they already studied your account. So they're telling you to say, 2 o'clock, can you put this thing on today?
Like, no, Biscuit, put that one down.
Put
What
that
are you
thing,
doing?
it's so cute, you know? Because they're the experts now. So I think about management, you're very right. Very
But you see the
right.
structures that it's management. Well, for the Hive, it's management, and then there's, the business transaction, and then it goes into the data, the precision, the content, all the way down to the copy. You
Sure.
know, it's a funnel that we have for each and every one of our influencers to make sure that you get the amount of money that you want. There's a transparent relationship. Everyone wins. And then your branding goes all the way to a Bonang or a Somizi. And that's where we'll be able to say, hey, look, we built a really good brand for you
100%.
as well as ourselves.
I'm
you
trying
know?
to eat cold eggs now.
All right, guys. So the most important thing to take away from this conversation is that scoop.
No, I wanted to say no.
Okay, fine. Sorry, forget about
I
that.
don't know if you wanna.
No, I'm gonna do it at the end. Scoop,
Okay,
why are
sorry.
you messing up with my
I'm
bag?
moving too quickly. Sorry, my bad.
You see, now you need a manager because he's messing with you.
Because he's pissing me off. All right. All right, guys, that is it on the conversation on influencer marketing. Key things to take away from this conversation is that, listen, influencer marketing is growing bigger and bigger as an industry. And the more it grows, guess what? The more you need a clone or an idea hive. Guys, thank you guys. You guys are already eating without me, okay? That is great. Thank you guys so much for coming. This one is for you, clone. I mean, you know me, girl.
Where's the check at?
Biscuits, this is for you. Scoop, high five. That is what you get from me. Anyways, I am gonna tag in. Definitely catch us on the next episode of the Hive Buzz.